Welcome into the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave, cavetalkradio.com, the Cave Talk Radio app. Great to have you aboard Facebook and YouTube Live. Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo, and it is a good day to be a New York sports fan, especially a New York Knicks fan. One of the better games I've seen them play this year against as formidable an opponent as you can get in the NBA. I know we were talking, and we'll probably talk again today, about how Boston just doesn't quite look like itself. But, you know, a non-perfect Boston is still about as hard a team as you can play in the NBA. I mean, they still do have about 40 wins. Like, let's not pretend that just because they're off by some, they're not still a beast of a team, because they absolutely are. And the Knicks beat them last night in overtime. And my favorite part about this, Rich, I had two main takeaways from this. One is about Julius Randle. The other is about the team itself. And this is probably a credit to Thibodeau more than anything else. They were up big most of the game. They blew a 12-point lead in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, forcing overtime. And it was very easy to expect Boston at that point to run away with it, to just have all the momentum in the extra stanza, and for the Knicks to just be down on themselves and lose, and it would just be another, here we go, Knicks can't close out, blah, blah, blah. It'd be all that today. Instead, and Boston got off to a quick start in the overtime. So it looked like it was heading that way. And then the Knicks righted the ship. Julius Randle hit a big three to bring him within two, I think it was, about halfway through the period. And next thing you know, the Knicks start getting some breaks. Jaylen Brown missed a couple of free throws, which Randle laughed in his face about, which I thought was great. Then the Knicks got some shots. RJ Barrett hit a big corner three to put him up off of action created by Randle and Brunson. And that was my big takeaway. Randle was a beast in this game. He had 37 points, another double-double, just an absolute monster. And if I'm being honest, which I always am, forever, I've always liked Julius Randle. I've always thought he had one of the best NBA bodies, NBA builds that I've seen in a long time. He's in that like David Robinson, Alonzo Mourning class of just like chiseled out of granite to be an NBA player. And the guy's built like an absolute rock. And
still very athletic.
And he's so athletic still 10 years into his career, yes. But the thing about him is, over these really this year, I have changed my perspective on him. I believe you can win a championship now with him being one of your two best players. I think if you have the right roster, a couple of breaks, and the right coach, I think this could be something like a Detroit Pistons from 2004, Celtics from 2008, one of those teams that wins one title, the Raptors from a few years ago. I don't think they could be a dynasty, but I think they can win a championship. Him and Brunson and Barrett, that is a dynamic trio, and they fit together. That's the thing I like. When I'm watching these three play, Randle's the head of the snake. He's the guy that bends defenses. Brunson is crafty and good at getting into the seams, but you're not going to double team him because he's a perimeter guard, a smaller guard, that double teaming is going to do more harm than good. I'm not saying that because he's not skilled enough to warrant a double team, but because of the type of skill set he has, the second you send a second guy, the ball's just going to the open man. So you're not going to do that. Plus, he's in space, and it's hard to double in space. You double in short corners, you double in the post, you double where there's less room to maneuver, usually.
Yeah, you need a sideline near you.
Right, really. Exactly, to double effectively. But Randle demands double teams often. And the thing is, him and Brunson play so good together in the two-man game, and Barrett, as I've always said, is an off-ball scorer, and now he's playing that role, and he plays off those two so brilliantly. Julius Randle, to me, has graduated from the kind of plumber's putty of the NBA, where you just kind of use him to plug a hole real quick and then move on, to this guy's now a PVC pipe. Like, this guy is part of your infrastructure. I love the way he plays. I think he's elevated himself so much. You like the analogy?
Yes.
I mean, that's what he is. He's part of the infrastructure now. I would make sure this guy was here for the rest of his prime if I'm the Knicks. I think he's earned it. I think he is a great representative for the team. Listening to him talk, he's one of the best sideline interviews in the NBA. He's respectful, well-spoken, and surprisingly candid. I forget who was interviewing him. They asked him about the person asked him about it was a guy, might have been Jared Greenberg. I'm not sure, but he asked him about a dunk of some kind or something he did earlier in the game. I didn't see it. Randall was very authentic and was like, yeah, I was happy about that one. I'm dunking about as good as I was when I was in high school. I'm surprised about that, or something of that nature. And I thought that's like just so lighthearted and so good. And he mentioned his wife, and he comes across, which isn't the most important thing to me in the world, as everyone knows, but like he does come across as a very authentic, nice guy, and he's well spoken. And as long as we're gonna do these sideline interviews, it's appreciative that there's something worthwhile coming from them, or at least interesting. And, Randall is pretty much that. Man, I really I am so impressed with how far he's taken his game from where he was. He was basically the forward version of Kemba Walker for a while for me. Just a volume scorer, a guy who you just got to take shots on a subpar team. If you were a borderline playoff team, you got him for a year, but you were never going to commit to him. That's all changed. I'm all in on Julius Randle. I think he's the Knicks' best player for sure. And I think if he's your best player and you have the right pieces around him, I think you can go really almost all the way. I really have done a 180 on my perception of Julius Randle. I think the guy has turned himself into a top 15 player in the NBA. The guy's an absolute beast.
I wasn't happy with him last year.
No.
He didn't look in shape.
Nope.
He chucked up a lot of shots.
And the funny thing was, the year before, he was great.
Yeah. I think he rode on that and figured he was there.
Yep.
He came in, he took far too many shots. He took contested shots. This year, he's still taking shots from everywhere, but he's letting the offense come to him.
Well, I think the addition,
which is a main difference.
Yes, I think
that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving him that guard to play off of, which he didn't have before.
That's very true.
And he did have Kemba Walker for a short time.
Yes. That's right.
Having that has just made his game better. He doesn't have to force it now. The game comes to him.
Right.
And it's great to see.
And the great part about it is it's symbiotic. For everything Brunson does for Randall, Randall does an equal amount for Brunson. I mean, Brunson.
Yes.
I mean, do you want to get screened by that guy? I don't.
And Brunson loves to get in the lane.
Yes. And Randall gives him those screens to get there. And he's got a big target on the roll or the pop out. No, they're a great duo. And Barrett playing off that action in the passing lanes in the corner or in the top of the wing or wherever, depending where the action is originating from, always in the field of view of the ball handler. It makes that a trio that's really tough. Then you surround them with a couple of good players like Grimes. I like this team. I really do. I think they're a couple of tweaks and whatever away from being, I mean, honestly, other than Milwaukee and Boston and probably Philly, and even Philly, I think with the couple of breaks and one or two quick moves, I think the Knicks could be, a serious threat to them. I mean, I think this team's really good. I really do.
I hope any move doesn't involve quickly. That's all I'd like to say. I'd like to see him stay because that instant offense off the bench is necessary.
It's key,
especially in the playoffs.
It's key. No, that's an excellent point. I mean, if
move Toppin, move Fournier,
right?
You will move Reddish, I'm sure.
Yes.
There's pieces there they can move to get the help they need.
Right. Yeah, and that help, by the way, to me, would be some type of probably a small forward, like to go alongside Barrett.
Yes.
Like a 2 or a 3. That would be what I would be looking for.
Yeah, a wing is super important.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I would be looking for.
I would have said a big, but Robinson is going to come back. So
how much better? Well, I'm just thinking of wings that are available if they ever decide that they're not going to hold them hostage. But how much better? Hey, I gotta yell at the cat. How much better do you think Jay Crowder would make this Knick team?
I don't know. Not sold.
I mean, because
he's gonna take minutes away at the 3 from Barrett.
Well,
you're not going to play him anytime at the 4 because of Randall. And Barrett's a better defender at this stage in his career.
Well, no,
Barrett gives you more offensive.
I would play them together. I would play Barrett at the 2 and Randall and Crowder at the 3.
I think you can do better.
I don't know. I think he's a veteran player who's very pretty productive and consistent on both ends. But I mean, look, if I can get
and they're not going to take just a little for him.
Well, that's the problem.
He's not worth what they want.
Well, no, that 100%. I'm just saying if their price came down, he's a guy that if I was moving Fournier and a late round pick, I would.
Would they take that?
Well, that's what
I'm going to say no.
Well, right now they're not. But what I'm saying is if those are the offers they consistently get.
Yeah, 245 on trade.
At some point they will. Right. That's what I mean.
And they might reconsider that.
And I'm not budging on that.
Then I say it's an upgrade.
Yeah. I'm not budging on that if I'm the Knicks. Like Crowder is worth what he's worth, which is a rotational piece and a late round pick. That's all I'm paying for Jay Crowder.
Yes.
Like there's no negotiating here. You're lucky you're getting the late round pick. My better judgment would say 2 seconds, but I'll give you the late round first pick.
Late round picks mean almost nothing to me. Second round draft picks are like Starbucks cards. I mean, they're interchangeable.
That's funny.
Every once in a while you hit on them, but how many second round picks have really become stars in the last 20 years? Probably a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Boozer comes to mind.
Long time
ago, 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's not many. I mean, Ginobili.
You don't see it much. European scouting wasn't what it is now.
Right. Yep.
And that's how the Spurs stole so many good European players. I mean, Parker was the last pick in the first round?
Yep, something like that. I mean, I can't think of a guy more recent than that generation who was a second round pick that became a big time player.
So I don't even care about those.
No, why would you?
That's why when I hear a team say, "Well, we've got 3 second round picks," I'm like, "Fine, you have a bologna sandwich." it doesn't interest me.
But no cheese or mayo. That's a late first round pick.
No.
This is dry bologna on stale bread.
we're going kosher deli here. No cheese with meat.
No cheese. No.
Sorry, you don't get that.
That's right. No, we don't do that here. Oh man. All right. Well, let's take our first break. We got a lot to get to today. Question of the day is next. We'll do our NFL picks for these weekend's games. Also, of course, we'll have NBA action from last night, what to watch for over the weekend besides football, hockey update, top 5 news you can use. A lot to get to. Just getting started. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All righty, we're back here on the Gary Ayd Show, and it's time now for the radio question of the day.
Flag football is on the menu for 2028. I am KO, back in 1 minute with your sports question of the day.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer. And again, airfare,
What about Puerto Vallarta?
let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-648-9175. 800-648-9175. 800-648-9175. That's 800-648-9175.
The 2028 Los Angeles Games are slated to include skateboarding, surfing, and sport climbing. But what you won't see on the list might surprise you. Longtime Olympic sports like boxing, weightlifting, and the modern pentathlon are not, for the time being, listed on the 2028 program. NBC Sports reports that LA 2028 can propose adding new sports solely for its edition of the Games. Sports like flag football. Question: which would you prefer to see in 2028? Boxing, weightlifting, pentathlon, or flag football?
Any of them, but the one they're going with. Look, flag football is not football. Like, if you're trying to make football an Olympic sport, play football. That's fine.
Which is dumb because we're the one country that does.
Well, that's why they don't do it, right?
Right.
So don't do football. Like, because here's the other thing. If we're the only country that does the real thing, the full Monty with football, isn't it ostensibly logical that we're also the only country that would more or less have flag football guys? I mean, it's still the same rules of the game, except there's no hitting. I mean, so like that's no more. It's not like there's like leagues of flag football in countries around the world. Like, so what's the point? Like, it just seems like a half-baked wet noodle here. I mean, the Olympic Committee sucks, though. I mean, like, they're just the worst. I mean, Qatar, really? Of all the places on the planet, I know that was the World Cup, but still, like, the same international bodies, these international globalist, sports organizations, they all think the same. They're a monolith. We know that. Like,
whoever has the money, Gary.
What money does Qatar
whoever
have?
has the money.
I mean, we could
money. Enough money to grease enough palms to get it, no matter how many people die in the process of building it. None of that matters.
Oh, I'm just pissed you couldn't have beer at a sporting event. My God, what a
I'm
waste
pissed
of time.
over human rights things too.
Yeah, I mean, Qatar is a disaster. We know that.
I'm pissed over all of it. I want my human rights and my beer.
Yeah, well, I just don't want to go to Qatar.
Well, yeah, I would never.
Like,
I'll normally look into a cursory game or two of the World Cup. I didn't even bother this year.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever watched a World Cup game in my life, so I didn't start this year. I just, it seems like a bad country to have something like that in. But getting back to the question,
it is. They've taken all people's rights away.
Yeah, they're just also like not exactly.
But I get it. When you go to their house, you got to play by their rules.
Right. Well, that's
why
it.
Go to their house.
Well, exactly. Like there's a lot of nice houses, or much nicer houses on the block. We decided to go to the crackhead den that gets raided by the cops all the time instead of going to we could have been invited to like the penthouse. Instead, we went to the drug house. Like, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Guess that drug money. But
Yeah, we've gotten far away from flag football.
We
Why
ha-
don't we put a flag football league in Qatar and just call
yeah,
it a
you
day?
know what? We'll start a flag football league. The home cities are Qatar, North Korea, China, Russia, and Australia. How about that? And New Zealand while we're at it. We'll have the all human rights, anti-human rights league. That's what we'll have. We'll have the all
Yeah.
authoritarian league. Cuba. We have
At
to
least
include
in
Cuba here.
Australia and New Zealand, you'll get beer.
That's right. You might get killed by like some spider the size of a laptop, but you'll have beer.
Yeah. I have no desire to either of those places just for that reason. No, flag football's not an Olympic sport.
It's stupid. If I mean,
They're going to take out boxing for that? Please. This is why the Olympics get more and more not relevant.
yes. Yeah. I think and this is a problem that's probably beyond their control, but one of the issues I've had with the Olympics pretty much my whole life, I've always said Olympics are sports for non-sports fans. Because realistically, if you're a day-to-day sports fan, and then you follow the leagues and players you follow. If you're in America, you probably follow the NFL, you probably follow the NBA, maybe you follow college football, basketball, you might be a baseball guy. All of those things, other than the NBA, are not Olympic activities. So if you're a day-to-day sports fan, one of the things you enjoy is knowing what's going on, being up on things. Well, when the Olympics roll around, I don't know who the hell these people are. So, but if you're a non-sports fan and it's pageantry, it's patriotism, it's the Olympics, it's got cachet, you don't know them anyway, you don't want to know them. So it's actually easier to watch the Olympics as a non-sports fan than as a sports fan. I've always said the Olympics is sports for non-sports fans.
I don't know. I enjoy the Winter Olympics a lot. You can have the Summer Olympics. Like I always say, there's only one sport more boring than track, and that's field. So, but I mean, there's things I love in the Winter Olympics, the luge. I think that takes an awful lot of guts, not a lot of brains, but an awful lot of guts.
I mean, I could appreciate.
And it was one of my
stuff.
bucket list things to do was to try that when they had it set up at where the 80 Olympics were, Lake Placid.
Lake Placid.
And I had my reservation too, and COVID happened, and now it's shut down.
Yeah. Okay.
So I never got to try that. I wanted to learn how and ride one.
Okay.
Because stuff like that interests me. A lot of sports on ice interest me.
Yeah, I mean, you can be. I mean, I guess I could appreciate it, but it doesn't draw me to watch it. Other than if I'm sitting there with my wife. Basically, the only time I watch Olympics is if I'm sitting there with someone close to me that doesn't follow sports. Like my drive as a sports fan is not turned on. The key doesn't fit my ignition. The Olympic key does not fit my ignition of my sports fandom. It doesn't, because I don't know who these people are. And with the NBA players in the Olympics, I, of course, know who they are, but I don't really care that much because I watched them in the NBA. So, like, the Olympics doesn't really do much for me. It never has. There's points of curiosity. I'm curious to see who the broadcasters are. But the thing that I think could actually solve this problem, I know we're kind of going off a different rant here, but that's okay. I've always said this. The Olympics needs their own John Madden. I don't mean like the bombastic, incredible personality. That would be wonderful. I'm talking about the guy that talks to you like you're a second grader. Because the people that are watching this stuff, most of us are second grade knowledge on most of these events. Like, these analysts go out there and talk in technical terms the way you would in the NFL or the NBA, where your audience probably has some level of knowledge. You can reasonably expect they know what hedging means or switching. Like, when they talk in these technical terms with something like alpine skiing, most people don't know. We need John Madden.
I love watching ski jumps and stuff, but I have no idea what they're talking.
Right. And to me, I think
I just enjoy it for the action. Now, I have tried watched and called curling, so
Ugh,
I have some knowledge there.
that is my least favorite Olympic sport.
It's fun.
Oh, I can't stand that one.
It's fun. It's one of the best drinking sports ever invented.
Oh, I'll just stick with the beer on the couch. But I think that a lot of this could be improved, and you might capture some people if you were to talk. Hey.
If Gary's going after the cats, it may be a losing battle. We obviously will sit here and wait for him, but you never know what's going to happen from one move to the other. It's always like cats 1, Gary nothing. But
Yes. No,
it's fun to watch on this end.
I don't get to win these battles very much.
No
But I
one does.
was just gonna say, I think that you could win a lot of people over, or more people anyway. I know I would personally be more engaged if they would talk to me, like explain, okay, when this person is doing this, like don't use jargon, use fourth grade
Right.
language, because
Right.
people don't
Right.
know what this stuff is, because and we don't know who these athletes are. And for me, that's a big part of being a sports fan. I'm less interested in the action on the court and more interested in the storylines and the commentary and the discussion around it. In other words, I like talk radio better than I like watching games for the most part.
Okay.
So if I don't know who the people are, don't know the storylines, don't know the terminology, I don't care. And
isn't it their job to give you the storylines to make these people sound a little more human?
well, it is, but baked into that, with you have to be aware of what sport you're calling and who your audience is. The biggest TV
Right.
audience is America. Most Americans don't know the first thing about most of these Olympic events. You should talk as if you're explaining a game to someone for the first time, because you basically are. And they don't do that.
See, in some of these skiing events, I would love to have someone explain it to me.
Yes.
While I enjoy the action, I'd like to know why they do what they do.
Yeah, what am I watching? Like
Yeah.
even something as
Or
fundamental.
the person steering the bobsled. What's the difference between what he does and what the other guy in the back does?
Even something as fundamental, you talk about boxing, that makes my analogy here. Like, we generally have an idea of what goes into scoring a boxing match.
Yes.
When you see the ratings from the judges in most Olympic sports, do you have any idea what goes into making those ratings?
No.
Something as fundamental as that. Explain that.
Even when they break them down, I don't get them.
Well, because they don't break them down in plain language. They break them down in technical jargon.
Right.
And
Right.
we don't know what that means. Like, we need John Madden. Hey,
Yeah, but do you want to take the time to find out what that means? No, you want someone to tell you in a
no,
way you
I'm not
can
going to look it
understand.
up. Yeah, the person
Right.
on the broadcast has to do that. Like I said, we need John Madden. It's fourth down. You're going for it. If you don't get it, the other team gets the ball. That's what we need. You know what I mean?
You need Yogi Berra.
Yes. Right. That's what we need here. That's exactly right. Is that, like, let's get it down to as simple a level as exists, because people don't know.
Right.
And
Okay, now
Yeah,
I
there
was
you go.
not thrilled with some of the questions this week, but the bottom line is no flag football in the Olympics.
Yes.
Most other countries don't play it,
no,
and
it's a
you're taking out things that are sports.
right. It's a
Actual
crappy.
sports.
If you're gonna put in full on football, I probably wouldn't take out boxing specifically, but I think there's a place for real football if there were other countries that played it. To your point, which there isn't, but because there's no countries playing real football, there's no countries playing flag football either. So
Right.
at least do the real thing if you're gonna do it at all.
Yeah. and yeah, other countries aren't out there saying, let's see, we can't do that real football stuff.
So let's
The
play
equipment, it's expensive. Let's play some flag football.
no.
No, that's not going on anywhere.
Exactly. No,
Except at the Pro Bowl.
it's stupid. Just take it out. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We will do some NBA. Then we will finish up the hour with some hockey, and perhaps a little bit more in the way of baseball. There is some baseball news to talk about, but of course, later in the second hour, top 5 NFL picks, news you can use. A lot to get to. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then, if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right. So before we get to the NBA stuff, sticking in basketball, though more in the college ranks, legend has passed. Billy Packard died yesterday at the age of 82. This is one of the preeminent names and voices over the last half century in college basketball. I mean, he's right up there with Dick Vitale, Digger Phelps, Jay Billis, take your pick. Any of these guys, he's right up there with all of them. Vern Rafferty, any of them you want to talk about, he's right in that class. This guy was awesome. And, he's 82, fortunate passing. I think it was cancer related. Either way, just a sad thing and definitely a legend. One of the greats.
Yeah, not only as a coach, but I mean, he really made his bones where most people knew him as
a broadcaster,
an analyst.
Yes.
And a very good one.
Yep. Yeah, he was awesome.
He had knowledge, obviously, personality, a sense of humor, and a sense of what points at the game needed to be brought out. He'll be missed.
Yeah, he was a great one. There's no question about it. I'm not a big college basketball guy, but he was a guy that, I recognize his voice.
Oh, yeah, you heard him calling the ACC playoffs, the title game. You heard him calling a lot of those games for a long, long time.
Yep, one of the greats, no question about it. All right, so I just wanted to get that out there. Let's take a look at some NBA games last night. We talked about the Knicks-Celtics game. That was by far the best game last night. I mean, I don't even know what you would call second place. I mean, I'm sure you were happy. Your Clippers took out the whipping stick and whipped up some Spurs last night.
Somebody needed to. People were giving them confidence, keeping it close. No, enough of that. Expose them for what they are.
Yeah, you gave it to them last night. What was it? A 30-point game, 35
138 to 100.
It's amazing.
Dallas Phoenix was good.
Yep.
That really was.
That was a good game. Spencer Dinwiddie came in. Luka Doncic got hurt early in this one, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Luka Doncic goes down. And Spencer Dinwiddie came up. There was 39 points for Dinwiddie, just dominated the game. And
he had 36, 9 assists.
Okay.
Dorian Finney-Smith had a double-double, 18 and 12. I mean, Doncic played 3 minutes.
Yep. Any update on him today?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, right? It's still early, yeah.
I looked first thing this morning.
Yeah. Obviously, that's a big deal.
And you had guys do what they do in Phoenix. Chris Paul had 22 and 10. Ayton had 19 and an incredible 20 rebounds. And they need Maxi Kleber back as well as another scorer. Cam Johnson had 22. Phoenix didn't get a lot from their bench, but they
you know, I was impressed. I watched probably the first quarter, maybe the first half of the second quarter of this game, and I was impressed early on with Chris Paul's determination that he was going to try to be aggressive and look for scoring early, and he was flowing. He was making a lot of shots early on.
They needed them.
Yeah, no, he knew it, and his sense of that was keen, and he came out there, and I mean, he was just knocking down everything. The first like 5 shots he took, I think he made 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he was steady all game. All game. Hey, Frank Ntilikina saw 8 minutes.
Hey, Frankie boy, Frank the Tank.
He had an assist.
The other Frank the Tank. What a bust he turned out to be.
Sometimes when you're not sure if a guy's still in the league, there he comes to show you that he is and why he shouldn't be all at the same time.
That could almost be its own top 5 guys who are still in the league years after you thought they were gone. That could almost be a top 5 because I remember having that experience.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
We'll do that today.
All right, why not? That's a good
I'll
one.
Scratch what I have because it's what I normally do.
So there we go.
Yeah, the Clippers game wasn't exciting. It was just they just went out there and did what they had to do. It was an old-fashioned beatdown.
Yes. Oh, it was.
Paul George at 35, Kawhi 27.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Zubats was in double figures. They had 3 guys off the bench in double figures. Norman Powell, who's having a great year quietly.
Yes, he is.
Robert Covington, I'm glad they gave him some minutes finally. And Reggie Jackson were all in double figures. This team got points from everywhere and points when they needed them.
I forgot that Robert Covington was even on this team. He's far too good a player.
I don't know what Ty Lue's problem is with him and why they're not using him. I just don't get it. He's a contributor.
He is. Let's do the Misfits swap. Let's hey Clippers, you want Cam Reddish and maybe Toppin? We'll take Covington. That's exactly the type of player the Knicks need.
Actually, yeah, and I don't think it would hurt the Clippers because Reddish fits right in what they want to do defensively.
Yep, and Toppin gives them a little extra depth in the front court, which they lack at times.
They do. They don't. They need another 4 or 5.
And neither of those guys plays big for the Knicks. We were talking about that before. That's a good trade, actually. The money would probably about line up. That's probably a good trade.
May not. You may have to throw in some draft capital.
Because remember, Reddish did sign that contract extension, so he's not on the rookie deal.
Right.
So
the money might work then. Toppin is on a rookie deal.
Yeah, he's on a rookie deal, but Reddish
and I know Covington is on a decent deal.
Yeah.
You could probably throw a couple of seconds in there if you need to make it work.
Yep.
The Clippers never have any firsts, so they collect seconds.
Well, we call that there's a saying for that. We call it penny wise and dollar stupid. They save their pennies but spend their dollars.
As long as they don't have to take like a Stanley Johnson type back, I say fine.
Stanley Johnson. That's another
I saw him last night.
He's gonna make our list probably.
He's on San Antonio.
There's a good name for the list later on. Well, we got Toby in the house. He's liking the NBA conversation. Toby's a big basketball fan.
See?
No, like literally, I'll be playing NBA 2K at home, and he will literally like jump up on the table where where my TV is on the stand, and he will literally like go and like whack at the ball on the screen and like try to like whack at the players like this.
Toby's a shot blocker.
He is. He's a defender. He's a defensive specialist. He's my little Ben Wallace. That's what he does. Because he doesn't do that if I play Madden or I play baseball. He doesn't do that with anything else. It's just basketball. Toby's a basketball fan. Takes after his dad.
I like it. I like it. But yeah, that was just a beatdown. It was not even
that really
not
was.
even interesting.
That really was a beatdown.
Well, the Pistons can't guard anybody.
That's true.
And yesterday the Nets couldn't guard them.
Ugh. Yeah.
What's up with that?
I mean, Kyrie did his job. What did he score? 40 points? I mean, he put on a show.
He's amazing.
He's a magician, man. I mean, I usually don't like to get into this whole I think people get in the NBA especially are prisoners at the moment. There's a lot of people that say Kyrie's the most skilled guard in NBA history, and normally I would scoff at that, but he has an argument. He's certainly in the conversation. I mean, the guy is absolutely incredible. It looks like he's performing like a demonstration in slow motion of offensive moves. Like it almost looks he's doing like an instructional video, but he's doing it against NBA double teams in real time.
Why they double team him, I don't know.
It's useless. It doesn't
work.
It makes no difference, right? You may as well just put your best guy on him and just say good luck.
Right.
Or hell, I might even with someone like that, I might even put my lesser perimeter defender on him, figuring he's going to score 40 against double teams for my best guys. He could score 48 against this guy by himself. Like I'll try to use my best guy on someone I might actually be able to stop.
Right.
Like he's at that level where it's like, I'm not even going to try.
Any games on tonight's schedule interest you?
There's a few. Yeah, I was looking at this. Milwaukee and Indiana, Minnesota and Memphis. Kind of interesting. Cleveland,
Milwaukee and Indiana interested me when Halliburton was there.
Yeah. Yep. The thing about this one that interests me and what I'm really watching for is I feel like Milwaukee has started to churn a little bit. The wheels are starting to turn a little bit better. And I want to see if they keep that up and do what the Clippers did to the Spurs last night, which is what they should do to a team like this without Halliburton. They should beat the crap out of them. I want to see if the Bucks go out there and just slam them to the mat, or if they let them hang around and win a close game that shouldn't be a close game. That'll tell me a little bit about where this team is right now. That's the reason I'm interested in it. Yeah,
it's been a slow process for them.
Yes.
You're interested in Memphis and Minnesota. So am I.
That's probably my favorite game on the
Grizz.
Tonight.
This is the perfect time for the Grizz to get it together against a team who will give them some competition.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll tell you this: the thing I'm looking at in this game, this is a pure excitement play for me. The combination of Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards on the court together at the same time, that makes me excited.
It should.
That's a great matchup. And they probably will spend some time guarding each other. It won't be like the principal matchup, but it will be they will defend each other at times.
Oh yeah.
Edwards will probably defend Morant more than Morant defends Edwards, but
right.
But
right.
yeah, this is Morant is a good
will
one.
Probably defend the point.
Right. Yeah, he'll probably Russell.
Bade will probably take
right.
Edwards, which is a better matchup for Memphis anyway.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you don't want to get Durant or Morant that tired out.
No.
On defense.
But if you're Minnesota, you probably do put Edwards on Morant quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
I would.
Although I don't know. Edwards at times defensively has the attention span of a gnat.
Well,
I think he might be paying attention in a game like this. If he's not, it could be a long night. If he is, it could be a fun matchup.
Yeah. So this one I'm definitely watching closely. And I think Minnesota could find a way to win this game. Look, they're at home. They've been playing better of late. And you talk about something missing with Boston. I'm feeling that way with Memphis right now. I know Adams is out, but they're on a 4-game losing streak and they're losing games close late. It's their free throw shooting. We've been talking about it all year. I mean, that's a major issue.
Yeah, it is.
Who's,
It is.
you know what I'm wondering? I'm going to pull this up right now because I never actually looked this up. Who is dragging it down? Like, who's the culprit?
Adams.
Well, yeah, but how many free throws does he really shoot a game? 2 or so?
Not a lot.
That's what I mean. Like, who's the guy that's really causing that number to be down that's actually hurting them? Because like Morant's what, like in the mid 70s? He's not great, but he's not terrible. Like, let's see. Because yeah, I know Adams can't make free throws, but I can't imagine he shoots more than 2 or so a game, right? Like
Right.
let's see here.
It might be collective. It might not be
Well,
a.
yeah, well that's what I'm thinking, but let's see. So here we go. So John Morant, not surprisingly, shoots the most free throws per game on this team by a lot. He shoots 8.4 per game and, and shoots 74%. So
Not great.
that's
Not
bad.
good.
No, that's not good.
Anything under 80 for a guard is unacceptable.
Correct. Really, there's only 2 other guys on this team, Bane and Jackson Jr., that shoot 4 or more a game, and both of them shoot. I mean, Bane shoots tremendous. He shoots almost 90%. He's 89.3, and Jackson is fine at 78.4. That's not the problem. Yeah, so Morant,
it's Morant, basically.
Pretty much. I mean, because to Steven Adams, he shoots 1.1 free throws a game. So he makes 36.4% of them. Okay, that's horrendous.
Yes, it is.
But
that's even low for him.
I mean, that's awful. But, you know, it's 1.1 a game. So you're talking, it's costing them basically 0.7, 0.5, like 0.75 points per game is what we're talking about. You know, that's not the problem. That's not what's hurting them. It's Morant.
No.
Yeah, it's Morant. There are some other guys here like Brandon Clark could be a little bit better. He shoots almost 3 free throws a game and only shoots 71.4%.
For a big, I'm not as worried about that. He shoots like near where Morant does, so that doesn't. But a guard, I should never hear 70 anything by his name.
Aldama shoots 2 free throws a game and is barely 70%. But yeah, Morant, if Morant could get his free throw shooting up to about 80 or 78, if he could match Jackson, that would help this team a lot.
Yeah, it would.
Yep. That would help this team a lot. And he should be able to do that.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, I'm
surprised at the number of really good players who aren't better. And I think it's just they count them as points and walk up there and just don't think about it.
Right.
Or put anything into it. Because they've done it all their lives, and it's like muscle memory for them. But sometimes it helps to look at it and say, you know, hey, we need these.
Yep, absolutely. All right,
Sometimes it's just a matter of concentration.
That's it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will go into the top 5. And today's top 5, we already decided it. We're going with guys that over the years you've all of a sudden seen playing in the game and you were like, wait a minute, he's still in the league? I thought he retired 5 years ago. So we're going with the all surprise team, we'll call it. They're still here. We'll go. That's what we'll call it. We're calling it the all-time they're still here team. And we will be back with that and the top 5 next. Hour 2 around the corner. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. Oh, baby. Hour 2. The Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. Exciting times. Great to have you aboard. Gary Ayd, Rich, and Selmo. Good stuff. And, of course, top of the hour, Hour 2. Can only mean one thing. It's time for the top 5.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for King Talk Radio's Top 5.
Alrighty, here we are. Top 5. The top 5. Who? What? They're still here? Guys that you saw on TV in a game and were like, wait a minute. He didn't retire 5 years ago? So we've all had those experiences. I remember, this is going back a ways, but I remember watching a game one time, and it was like early 2000s, and like all of a sudden, Stacey Augmon was in the game. I'm like, wait a minute. What's this guy doing here? I thought he was a coach 5 years ago. And he's like, he was on someone's bench for a long time. I could see someone seeing Udonis Haslem coming into a game, but he's kind of a famous bench guy. So everyone kind of knows about him. But like,
oh, yeah.
You know, the guy that probably the top of my list. It's not basketball, it's baseball. About 2 years ago, I wasn't even watching the game. Someone, my buddy Mike texted me. Because he's a Cubs fan. So he's watching a Cubs Pirates game. And he's like, I just watched Oliver Perez. I was like, what? He like yell at the umpire? He goes, no, he's pitching. What? He sucked when he was good. And he's still around. The guy's like 40 years old. He has like a career 5 ERA. He's never been good. And he still has a job. I was like, what? This is like 2020 or something, or 21. Like, this is real recent. And I was like, wait a minute. Oliver Perez. I mean, I guess if it's going to be anyone, it would be the Pirates to have a guy like that. But still, like, my God. Let's see. Some other good ones. You know, Dana Barros and Lindsey Hunter both had a phase like this where I would see one of them pop up every once in a while for like Detroit or someone.
Oh, especially Barrows. Yeah.
I'd be like, wait a minute, he's still around? You don't see this that often in football. It's more baseball and basketball that you see this. You probably see it in hockey too, but I don't follow hockey enough to know.
Not much.
Well, because I know, like, the one thing I know about hockey is it's always been the most common sport to see a 40-plus-year-old or a guy with, like, a lot of years. So I thought there might be some guys that just, like, you know, somehow managed to stick around.
Normally, they don't go away and come back, though.
Well, none of these guys did go away and come back. They were always active. It just, they hadn't been relevant in so long that you forgot that they were active.
I felt that when I saw Stanley Johnson go into the game last night. Like, I thought the Lakers waived him last year. What happened?
Done. Yeah. And
he's back.
These guys like pop up. I'm trying to think if there's ever been an example of this in football that I can think of. You know, honestly, you mentioned him the other day. The former Jets receiver, Crowder, Jamison Crowder. He's still like batting around somewhere. And Buffalo. Yeah, like why
sat on the injured list most of the year.
Yeah, Crowder and Jericho Cotchery was like this too, another Jets receiver.
Yes.
Apparently the Jets have a monopoly on these guys in the NFL. You know, Crowder is only 29.
I know. Played like he was 49.
I'm telling you, man. You know, it's bad when you look up like his name and the first thing that comes up on the sidebar is Jamison Crowder stats 2017.
Yeah.
that tells you all you need to know. That's why we know he fits this list.
Andrew Bynum bounced around from place to place. When you thought he was gone, he ends up in Cleveland. He was terrible there. He goes somewhere else for a little while, even worse. He's done it multiple times, so he's a repeat offender.
You know, at the end of his career, Josh Beckett and AJ Burnett kind of did this.
Oh yes, yes.
Like Josh Beckett traded off that one Great World Series for like 9 years.
Yeah. And then in spring, you'd see him in someone else's camp.
Yes, stinking it up.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got. Jamie Moyer was around for 100 years.
Did you ever think he was gone though?
No, that's the thing. I always knew he was there. That's yeah.
Yeah.
But
because he was relevant enough that.
Yeah, with his 5 ERA and 74-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, I didn't say it was for good things.
He's like, I didn't say it was good. Oh God, man. You know, I forget where it was. Maybe it was with the White Sox. But El Duque Hernandez popped up like that. And he was another one that I thought had retired, and all of a sudden I see him pitching a game.
I think I remember that. Didn't Fernando Valenzuela do that too?
He might have. Well, El Duque, I remember him pitching and thinking, that doesn't look like El Duque. He was about 30 pounds overweight. He looked like he was about 50 years old. Jason Giambi is a good one. When he was with Cleveland his last year, I thought he had been retired for 3 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about him.
Yes. Like literally, I turned on a game one day. I think I was watching an ESPN game. I think it was the Red Sox and Indians. And next thing I know, they're saying pitch hitting is Jason Giambi. I'm like, wait, what?
Okay.
when did he come back? It's like he never left, but he was irrelevant for years. Yeah, so there we go. A pretty good list. Let's
yeah, it is.
Let's try to sort them and rank them.
All right.
Number one for me is without a doubt Oliver Perez. It won't be anyone else. Uh-oh. Here he comes again. Mr. Trouble himself. Yeah, Oliver Perez is number one for sure. I think Jason Giambi might be second. I was like floored to see him. I was like, wait, I couldn't believe he's still in the league.
I remember the big deal of him signing because Buffalo was the Indians' AAA affiliate at that time. So he was actually spent some time down here with the Bisons. So that one to me, I knew he was there, but yeah, I never thought he was going to play in the majors.
No, I didn't know he was there. I was because the last I knew he had gone back to Oakland for a little while, and I figured his career ended, and I didn't hear about him for a long time. And the next thing I know, I'm seeing him in Cleveland. So, this cat. At least it's my bagel with butter he's trying to eat instead of my cables. You just are a pain. Oliver Perez, Jason Giambi, Stacey Augmon, I think is going to be my third.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, Stacey Augmon, didn't he play on like the Bad Boy Pistons? Like just after that? Like, like it's just like, wait a minute, what's he doing here? Let's see who else.
Yeah, Andrew Bynum was on mine.
Andrew Bynum, okay. I can see
yeah,
that.
he overstayed his welcome.
I think I'll say Jamison Crowder. When I heard you mention his name a couple days ago on the show, I was like, what did he do? I thought he was like a blotter report type of thing. He's like, oh no, he's on the roster. What? So I'm going to put Jamison Crowder in there for me. That'll be my fourth.
Well, for everything he did in Buffalo, he may as well be. And be on a blotter report.
Yeah, right. And who do I want to go for with 5? A couple of choices here. You got Dana Barros, you got Lindsey Hunter,
Still throw Andrew Bynum in there.
Andrew Bynum. See, the thing is, for me, like kind of you with Giambi, I knew his whereabouts the whole time because I followed his career with some interest because I was a big fan of his when he was healthy with the Lakers. So that one wasn't a mystery to me.
Okay.
So that won't make my list for that reason. You know what?
It probably wasn't that much of a mystery to me either, but it was more shock than anything else.
Gotcha. I'm going with, as a guy that when I saw him come in the game, I was like, wait a minute, he's still here. I'm going to go with Dana Barros. Because
that makes sense.
I mean, like there were a couple of games in the mid 2000s where all of a sudden he's in the game. And I was like, man, I remember having this guy's like card when I was like a kid. Like with the old Piston uniforms back when they were cool.
Yeah, that's bad.
Because him and Grant Hill were basically teammates.
Right.
And yeah, he was like the second scorer on those Piston teams behind Hill. So there you go. So that's our top 5. An interesting one today. Not the longest one in the world, but when we were talking about Oliver Perez and Stanley Johnson, it got me thinking about this. Like, yeah, I've had these experiences and I just wanted to share some of them. They're kind of funny.
I forgot about Dana Barros. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So there we go. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do our NFL predictions, and then we'll continue on from there. We got news you can use, maybe a little basketball, a little hockey. Back after this, NFL, Gary Ayd Show here in the cave.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch. Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All righty, we are back, and it's time to do our NFL picks. We have 4 great teams left in play, probably the 4 best teams in the NFL, and these are just great matchups. Both of these are really, really hard to pick.
They are. Oh, let's start with the 3:00 game. Niners at Eagles.
Man, I'll tell you this. If the Niners win this game, and Brock Purdy is a big reason why, my mind is made up that it's real, it's sustainable, and he's their quarterback going forward. He would have to be, because this Eagles defense is as fast and disruptive a defensive unit as I've seen since the Legion of Boom. I mean, these guys are scary fast. I mean, they absolutely train wrecked the Giants last week with that speed on defense. Niners are going to have their work cut out for them. The one thing the Niners have that the Giants didn't have is they have many more weapons that this Eagles defense will probably be less able to just pin its ears back and go. Because
Right.
like you got to worry about Samuel, you got to worry about Ayuk, you got to worry about Kittle, and of course you got to worry about McCaffrey. So, and they have an equally adept, if not even slightly better, play caller. I mean, Dable and Shanahan are probably the two best offensive minds in the NFL right now. So you give Dable the weapons that Shanahan has, I think he might have had a different game. But still, that Eagles defense scares me. And their offense is obviously great too. That's just a scary team. I have a hard time seeing the Niners beating them, but I also have a hard time saying the Niners can't beat them. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna go with my heart here because my mind can't make up its mind. My logic and reasoning sector of my brain. So I'm just gonna go with emotion, which is something I almost never do. But the hell with it. I can't make up my mind anyway. Let's go Niners. But I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. I really don't. Both of these teams are so good.
I've been back and forth on this one all the while. All week long, I've been going
It's hard.
back and forth.
It's
It's
hard.
a tough one. Both defenses are phenomenal.
Yes.
San Francisco's offense does a lot of the right things and are very basic about it.
Yep.
But they're also very effective.
Yep.
I think they'll give the Eagles a little bit of a hard time, but on both sides of the ball, speed kills.
Yep.
And I'm going with the Eagles
Yeah.
in a very low scoring game.
Yeah,
and
that's the
probably
one.
by a point or two.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this game. I think it's probably safe to say if you get to 21 points, you can probably win this game.
Yeah, I figured 20-17.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
And the later game.
Yep. Well,
Bengals and Chiefs.
I got to see how healthy Mahomes is. And given the gamesmanship that is common among NFL injury reports, especially this time of year with a player of this importance, I'm not going to believe anything I read or see during the week. I want to see it in action. But to me, if Mahomes is healthy, I like the Chiefs. The challenge here to me, the matchup to watch is going to be the front seven on both sides. Can the Chiefs O-line hold up to that intense and physical front seven of Cincinnati? And also Cincinnati's weakest link at times has been their own offensive line, and they got a bear on their hands with Chris Jones.
Yes, they do.
So that's going to be key to me. One difference in this game that I think is going to play to the Chiefs' advantage, one area where I think they're a much tougher matchup for Cincinnati than the Bills are. While the Bills have the best vertical threat of these two teams with Diggs, Kelsey's ability to get open on every play in a quick rhythm and cadence over the middle in the vision window of the quarterback takes a lot of the zest out of that Bengals pass rush and physicality up front, because you have that permanent safety valve that you can always go to. I think that's a major problem for Cincinnati in this game. I could see Kelsey having like 100 yards, but on like 14 catches, like averaging like 4 to 5 yards a catch. Like I could almost see them using him as a running game in this game.
I can see that too. Because I know Mahomes is practiced partially.
Yes. Yep, I read that too.
But I think if you take away any of his ability to move, you take away a lot of what he does.
Right. No, I agree, which is where Kelsey being sort of like a passing running game might help to offset some of that. Because if you're just running a half step where you're not even really doing a drop, you're hiking the ball and then just hitting Kelsey on a quick, like little cut over the middle and just letting him barrel for 3 yards after the catch. And you're getting 5 yards, like 4 or 5 yards. I think Cincinnati's going to have a hard time with that and a hard time dealing with Chris Jones. And I think Kansas City's offensive line is going to have its hands full with protecting a less mobile Mahomes. So I think this game comes down to that front seven matchup. I think it could go either way, but I've learned in these spots, even more so than Mahomes and Reed, I just don't bet against Travis Kelce. This guy's an absolute monster. I think Kelce and Jones end up proving the difference in this one and allowing the Chiefs to beat a very physical, very good Cincinnati team. I'm going with Kansas City.
Okay, I'll be the contrarian here. I'm taking the Bengals.
There you go.
The last 3 times I've seen these two teams play, Kansas City has not responded well. And if Mahomes is as bad as he may be, or just not 100% of himself, I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Mahomes injury looms large. The one thing I don't want to just completely gloss over here is the fact that the one drive he did play, I know it was a different team, but Chad Henne didn't have any problems. So, and that's the other thing we haven't touched on here. I mentioned Shanahan and Dable as probably being the 2 best offensive minds in the NFL. Well, this is probably the other guy in their class, Andy Reid.
Yes.
So if anyone can like devise ways around a limiting factor on such an important player in such a big game, Andy's the guy that can do it.
And I like all 4 offensive minds in this game.
Yep. Taylor's a good one. Yep. And we mentioned Shanahan, of course.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yep. I agree.
They're all good. I'm going to stay with the Bengals. I just think they're hot. They're the hottest team in the league.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that.
They haven't lost in 2.5 months. I don't think they're going to now.
So you got the Bengals and the Eagles. I got the Niners and the Chiefs. So we are on opposite sides of the spectrum here. The Niners game, I'm admittedly picking based on an indecisiveness. I don't know which way that game's going to go. So I'm just.
Hey, believe me, I've thought about it.
I'm just rooting for my team. The Chiefs game, I feel I can't say I feel great about, but I feel more convinced in my prediction than I do with the Niners. It's more of a this is what I think is going to happen versus I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm rooting for my team to win. So, I think
that's what it's all about.
That's it. I mean, ultimately, I think for me, the combination of Jones and Kelce proves to be a problem for Cincinnati. But we'll see. So there you go. That's your NFL weekend. Of course, both these games are on Sunday. And then we got the week off. And it's the Super Bowl.
Let's drag it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm not. I'm not ready for the season to end.
I don't need the 2 weeks. I think it's ridiculous. That's why so many of these games aren't good.
Yeah, it's that or the distraction of it. Oh, I don't know. But I wish the season was going on longer. But hey, we'll get the off season soon enough. No, so there you go. So you got that. Coming up, we'll have some hockey, a little bit in the way of basketball again. LeBron
said you had some baseball stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just basically with the baseball stuff, there wasn't much. It was just there's a lot of talk now around Shohei Ohtani, and it's becoming more and more clear that Moreno is not looking to pay him. So his availability could be maybe sooner than we were expecting. That was it. It was more of a note. It wasn't really a whole conversation.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to uncover on the Frank Reich hiring too that I want to get to. So
all right, we can do that. And let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk Frank Reich. We'll do a little basketball. Got the hockey news you can use. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, we're back here on the Gary Ayd Show, and let's talk Frank Reich. What do you got, Rich?
Well, he came full circle. He took the first snap in Carolina's history. Now he's their head coach.
Interesting.
A nice hire. He works with young quarterbacks. I'm sure they're going to draft one. In fact, you know who the quarterback was that replaced him after a few games?
Kerry Collins?
Yep. You got it. And a couple of years later, they were in a Super Bowl.
That's right. Well, but it wasn't Collins leading them.
Right.
That was Jacob Delhomme.
Right.
Collins
he lives there. Yes, he did. Reich lives there. It's a good move for him. One person not happy about this is Steve Wilkes.
Oh, yeah. Well,
former head coach. There's a potential lawsuit coming down here. Reich's daughter, Hannah Reich Fairman, announced that she had officially accepted a job with Carolina on Twitter. And that got Wilkes' lawyers all in a tizzy. They're going to say that, hey, that means the Reich thing was determined. This was actually before Reich was hired. She's a marketing person. So if there's nepotism, it's not on the field. And you know something, everybody hires their kids. It doesn't bother me.
No, I don't care about that either. I mean, look, nepotism, I almost look at it as a trumped up charge in the sense that, like, it's only natural that people are going to hire people they know. I mean, that's just life. I mean, you're not going to go and find a stranger that you hope works out if you know someone that you think could do the job.
And she's qualified. She is a marketing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, she's
person. She works for a fairly well-known, athletic company now.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. She's qualified. It's not like they hired someone who was a bartender to be a member of Congress or something. That would be stupid. Oh, wait, never mind. We've done that before. That wasn't
well. We got stupid on both sides. Believe me.
Oh, yeah. So no, but my point is, this person was qualified, and then so what that they happen to know each other? Like, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, the Wilkes' lawyer said, and this is a direct quote, "We are shocked and disturbed that after the incredible job Coach Wilkes did as the interim coach, including bringing the team back into playoff contention and garnering support of the players and fans, that he was passed over for the head coach position by Panthers owner David Tepper. There is a legitimate race problem in the NFL, and we can assure you that we will have more to say in the coming days. Now, Wilkes is no stranger to this. He's already been attached to the Brian Flores suit. And some people in his camp are saying they're also not angry with the fact that they didn't talk to him about an assistant's role. Well, wait a minute. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
You want to be an assistant or not?
No, it's
or do you want to be a head coach? Have you had any interviews for a head coach? And I do admit, if you're African American, the interview process is usually a farce. I mean, you'll get interviewed because you're a friend to someone's, and they have to, quote, get it out of the way. And I've seen that happen a lot.
I've also seen a lot of African Americans hired to be head coaches too.
Yes, I've seen both sides.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of a deal that is really, but
I don't know if it's both. I don't know. I mean, it seems Wilkes did an okay job. Did they give him an interview? I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's be real about it. Frank Reich is a much more of a known commodity for this job, and he has great ties to the organization, like you were just saying.
Yes,
that's a logical hire.
Oh, it is. I'm not knocking the hire. Don't get me wrong. I like Frank Reich.
Yeah, well, I know you do.
I thought he got a raw deal in Indianapolis.
Yep, I agree.
With a team with an owner who wants to hire the same guy who won his first game and no others.
You
got a 50-spot hit on him with Dallas and then lost to Houston at the end of the season. Just, Irsay, go back to collecting your guitars. Leave the football stuff to football people.
Yep.
Please.
Please and thank you.
So I'm glad Reich's out of there, actually.
Yeah, it's probably a blessing in disguise.
And they have the 9th pick, I think, and I'm sure they will take a quarterback. Everybody's saying so, at least. But, the only team we know who's not taking one is the Jets, because the Jets head coach came out and said, we're committing to finding a veteran quarterback. Okay. Well, yeah, of course you are. That's why you hired Coach Nate.
Nate the Great. Rodgers.
No.
Rodgers. Please, Rodgers. Please,
Nate's
Rodgers.
Not great at anything. And if Rodgers doesn't go there, you'll see that he sucks as a recruiter, too.
First time in NFL history, someone was hired as a coordinator to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Let's go, Rodgers. Come to New York. Let's go, Rodgers.
And if he doesn't,
come to New York.
What's he going to do with that quarterback mess there?
Make it messier? Is that possible? I don't know. I mean, the good news is he can't screw it up too much more, right?
Right. Unless they don't get him and get David Carr.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Of course, I don't think Carr would listen to him either. But Carr would be a lot nicer about it. He would just tell him he is, but not listen. Where Rodgers just tell you, I'm not listening to you. Which I can respect in a way.
I totally agree.
Let's stay with this coaching news for a bit. I know you got some baseball stuff to get to.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Sean Payton's interest in Denver is going away quickly. They want to talk to 49ers defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans.
Yep, that makes sense.
And David Shaw, the former Stanford head coach. I don't know about that.
I don't like that one.
He was the Baltimore quarterback and wide receiver coach for a few years. In the from 2002 to 2005. But he spent 12 years at Stanford. I mean, his last 4 seasons, 3 were losing seasons, and he stepped down.
Yeah, see, if I was Sean Payton, Denver doesn't interest me. You know what? I would almost, if I was Sean Payton, I would almost take a gamble here. I would pass. None of these jobs really interest me.
No.
I would gamble that the Chargers get off to a bad start and fire their coach and then go there.
Which should have been done anyway.
That should have already happened. I completely agree, but it hasn't. But I have to imagine that he's not on good terms. Now, the other option is if you're Miami, how committed are you to Professor so-and-so?
The fraud? Oh, you shouldn't be.
My chemistry teacher is masquerading as the head coach of the
Just because you went
Dolphins.
to Harvard and mommy and daddy are rich and know everybody doesn't mean you deserve the job you have.
Doesn't mean you're any good at your job, right?
It means you got the job you have.
Yes.
That's all that means.
Yep.
And if Sean Payton came up to me and with those receivers, yeah, I would bounce him out in a second.
Yeah. See you later. Go back to Harvard. We're bringing
I'll pay him off, but I'll bounce him out in a second.
Absolutely. Because I mean, if you're because the other thing is let's look at it this way. Let's stick with Miami for a second with Peyton. Those receivers they have, and now if all of a sudden Sean Payton is there, don't you think if Tua is not healthy, don't you think that guys like Derek Carr wouldn't be tripping over themselves to go play with those receivers with that coach?
Yes,
I would be.
I mean, and actually, they're the front runners for Brady right now. Anyway,
there you go.
He has a home there.
Yeah.
The thing in Denver about Shaw, I think D'Amico Ryans is more fresh and more qualified.
I agree with that.
But Shaw's got someone in his corner, Condoleezza Rice. She's a part owner. And according to Mike Florio, she's had a substantial role in the interviews for head coach. So if Denver does hire Shaw, don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked if what?
If Denver hires Shaw, the Stanford guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look, Denver.
Because again, that nepotism works in a lot of ways.
Right. Yep. Denver wouldn't shock me doing anything. But,
Yeah, I know. Look who they hired last.
And now the Jets. I'm still upset about that. I really am. I'm not even a Jet fan. Like, you better get Rodgers. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not upset because one, I want to see how it plays out, and two, if it doesn't play out the way you want, you get what you reap what you sow.
Yeah, they're gonna reap what they sow, all right.
I'm adamant about that.
Which is nothing because with this guy, the sewing machine is broken.
Right.
He doesn't sew.
I mean, who doesn't think that this is a bad idea?
I bet you even Nate Hackett thinks it's a bad idea.
Unless Aaron Rodgers comes with it, it's an awful idea.
Well, that has to be.
We know what this guy is. I told you what he was before, what I felt he was anyway, before the season started.
And then one game in, you're like, we gotta fire this guy.
Wanted him gone in game one. The most simple thing, you have like a couple of jobs as a play caller, and the most simple thing is to manage the clock. Boy, did they screw that up. Oh, it's okay. We'll try a 60-something yard field goal. Yeah. Then get mad at the kicker when it doesn't work. Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not only could he not be my latex salesman, he cannot be my coach.
Oh, man. What a mess. What an absolute disaster.
Isn't it, though?
Ugh, God.
And I will normally, because I have coached, give coaches a lot of rope, but he had none. He had none. I mean, when they hired him, I was tying the noose.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, we got into it some yesterday, but yeah, I could tell today that you were still a little baffled by that move. And that's the only reason they did it. You want to talk about nepotism?
Oh, well, no, they're just trying to get Rodgers.
Right.
As long as that works, then fine. But if it doesn't, I literally would fire the guy.
Now, if the Jets head coach and GM think that this guy's an actual coach, then this is on them.
Well, yes.
But I don't think Coach Robert has the longest leash in the world either.
Coach Robert.
But he's done something anyway.
Yeah, he's not been awful, but
Right.
And
or
honestly,
Nate has been.
Oh, yeah, Nate's horrendous. I mean, him and Adam Gase have to be the two worst offensive coaches I think I've ever watched in my life. I mean, they're horrendous. I mean, Adam Gase was so bad. And to hire the only other guy who's on his level 2 years later in the same organization, what is wrong with you people?
That means either this is just a recruiting ploy or your organization is clueless.
Yes. And I have to think it's the former. Only for one reason. One reason only. Joe Douglas is not clueless.
Right.
Far from it. So
I could see him sitting there go, I'll go along with this, but
if we don't get Rodgers, he's out the door.
I don't like it very much.
Right.
How many years do you want him for? I don't know.
Wait, you said the word years? I was thinking weeks. Once we get Rodgers, we can get rid of him, right?
Yeah, you don't want to piss off Rodgers either.
The Rodgers be like, yeah, he's harmless. Just sit him in the corner.
Because if you give Rodgers a guy who will stay out of his way, he'll be happy.
Yeah, I'll just run the show. You don't need him. You just keep him here. Okay, sure thing, Aaron. You got it. No problem. Good stuff. All right. Shohei Ohtani looking more and more likely that he will not be part of the Angels' long-term plans. It appears that Artie Moreno is not likely to pay this guy what he's probably going to command on the open market. So the question from now until the trade deadline is going to be, is he traded? Because I'll tell you something. If I'm one of these non-destination teams that's not going to just sign a guy for $500 million in free agency. But maybe I can potentially convince my owner to re-sign him if we trade for him and he has an impact and he fits or whatever. This might be the time, if there's ever a time to throw caution to the wind and trade to get what could turn out being a rental, this might be the time. Like if I'm a team like, let's say.
Yeah, what if you're Atlanta? They took a little hit this year.
Yeah, Atlanta's an interesting one. I was going to say a team like Arizona. If I'm an irrelevant team that has a lot of prospects and just wants to be relevant again, trade some of those guys, get Ohtani. And you know what? If it ends up being that you end up not keeping him because he signs elsewhere or you're not going to pay him.
If he goes there, it's going to be a rental. I'll tell you right now.
But what I'm saying is maybe.
His biggest issue here is he's not winning.
Well, here's the thing.
So he's not staying.
Well, hold on a second. Get there. Say he likes the area. He ends up really connecting there. Owners like him. Minds change. People change their minds. And what I'm saying is, if I'm a franchise like that, I have plenty of time to stink and get more future prospects that won't pan out afterwards. So I'm rolling the dice on a guy like this, if I can, to just try. So I guess what I'm saying is I wouldn't be shocked if there is a deeper market to acquire him during the trade deadline, from now through the trade deadline, than there will be if he hits free agency. If he hits free agency, it's the usual suspects. It's the Mets,
right?
It's the Dodgers, it's the Padres, maybe the Giants and the Yankees. That's about it. Maybe the Red Sox if they decide to go back to their normal ways. Like there'll be five or six teams.
Padres had to cap off season ticket sales because there was going to be nothing left for regular fans.
That's insane. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, so like, I guess what I'm saying is while he is available for trade or potentially available for trade, I think the market is broader. than it will be if he hits free agency. If he hits free agency, it's going to be one of those 5 or 6 teams. Like, it's not going to be anyone else.
Right.
But
just know that you may be getting a rental, and if you don't mind that, then do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking the chance that I know it could become a rental, but I'm hoping that it's not. You know what I mean? I'm going to do everything I can to make it not a rental, but I understand that could happen. But
okay,
look, if I'm one of these teams, there's no better way to get instantly relevant than the most interesting baseball player we've had in decades. I mean, at least the guy is interesting. And of course, he's awesome too. We know how good he is, but it's also fascinating, right? And if he is going to play both ways, he solves a lot of problems. You know what I mean? He's a really good pitcher and he's a really good hitter.
He is, man. It's food for thought.
It is. So there we have it. All right. Give us a quick hockey update, then we'll close it out with some news you can use.
2 games involving locals last night. 1 good, 1 bad. The New Jersey Devils lost to Nashville 6-4 in a rare high-scoring game for the Predators. Buffalo goes to 3-0 on their road trip, beating Winnipeg 3-2. 1 more road game and they can come home. A sweep would be nice. 3 games. I think almost everybody, all the New York, Jersey teams play tonight. Detroit goes in to Long Island to play the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Rangers host the Vegas Golden Knights. And New Jersey goes on the road to play Dallas.
There you go. Good stuff. How is Dallas this year?
Good. Them and Winnipeg are battling it out for first place in their division, and Dallas is slightly ahead of them, and Buffalo put a little hurt into Winnipeg last night. So
there you go.
And the Sabres are 2 points out of a playoff spot. So let's start talking seriously here.
Let's go Buffalo.
The Rangers are pretty locked. The Devils are the season just keeps getting good. They're 31-13-4. That's better than the other 2 New York teams. And they're being slept on.
Yep.
I think they're good.
There we go.
Hey, something interesting. Everybody's making a big deal about the New England Patriots actually hiring an offensive coordinator instead of hiring a defensive guy to do the job.
Well, at least it's not Josh McDaniels, but it's another guy, Bill O'Brien, right?
Yes.
Yep.
But I'll tell you who's happy about it. I don't think it's the greatest hire, but Mac Jones did not like the previous guy and hated Joe Judge.
Mm.
They used to curse each other out during practice.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't uncommon to them to just have these profanity-filled yelling matches.
No shit.
During practice. And a Patriots source said Mac didn't like him at all, and it showed.
Wow.
So he's still a member of the coaching staff, but he doesn't have a voice now with them bringing in an OC. And O'Brien's done the job before, and he spent the last 2 years at Alabama.
Is Joe Judge not one of the weirdest head coaching hires in NFL history?
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Because he was a basically nobody. All of a sudden he's a head coach, at a really young age, has an okay first year, falls apart after that. And now he's back to being a basic nobody at the place he started with. And you almost get the feeling that he might never rise much above position coach again.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I have no reason to believe that he should.
Right.
What else can you use today? The Astros hired Braves Vice President of Scouting, Dana Brown, as their new general manager.
Good hire.
Very good hire. He's knowledgeable.
Yep.
He's a champion. He brings that experience to a team that has a lot of it. I like the move.
I do too. No, I think it's a very good hire. And And yeah, I would be very if I was a fan of the Astros, I would feel very comfortable with this hire. It's a good one. I absolutely agree. Couple of arguments being made, and this is sensible in the wake of the Scott Rowland induction. A lot of people, a lot of Yankee fans in particular, making the case that if he is qualified for the Hall of Fame, so is Munson and Mattingly. Your thoughts on those two?
I agree. Both ways. I didn't want to see Rowland. Well, first, I don't want to see Rowland or Helton or any of those guys.
I think Helton.
I want to see A-Rod. I want to see.
Well, yes.
I want to see the guys that deserve it. As far as I'm concerned, until they're in, the Hall of Fame's a farce.
Yep, I don't disagree. I mean, A-Rod, Bonds, Ramirez, Clemens, those four.
Yeah.
I would throw Pete Rose in there too, but
I would too.
At least those four.
Why wouldn't Rose be? He's the all-time hits leader.
Right.
And he had a long, successful career.
No one's ever going to touch that record, by the way.
No.
Not
with because 260 is a good season now for most hitters.
Right. I was going to say, not with this obsession with the quote 3 true outcomes: walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Like getting hits, just getting the ball in play and getting a hit is not. It's almost viewed as worse than a strikeout by some of these math lunatics. So, like, as long as that rules baseball, you'll never. I don't know though. You'll even get another guy to get much beyond 3,000. I think you'll still get 3,000 hit guys. But it's going to be guys that play for like 23 years and get like 130, 140 hits a year instead of 200 hits a year.
Well, and you got news out of that too. Speaking of rule changes, Charlie Blackmon in Colorado says with this rule change, he's going to have a bounce back year. He says he feels that you should add him to that list of players who's going to benefit from the ban of the shift.
I'm actually really anticipating watching the first month of the season to see that impact, because I know you and I had a couple of debates on this. We're sort of on opposite sides of it, but like it's unquestionable that things are going to look a whole lot different. And I
think so too. And I'm here for it. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm here for it. One more quick one.
Yeah.
Cole Irvin going to Baltimore. Good left-handed pitcher for them, and the A's just keep not retaining talent.
Hey, what else is new? The sun sets in the morning and rises in the morning and sets in the evening, and you pay your taxes every year, and the A's don't keep their talent. Yep, that sounds right.
And Irvin, I mean, he's going to be 29 in a couple of days. He pitches a decent amount of innings. He's a lefty. There's a smart move. Baltimore's made a couple of very low-key moves. And they still, if you look at the top 100 prospects, they run that list. So they didn't get any of the splashy moves they wanted, but just keep adding pieces and keep bringing up the kids. You, too, are not a destination, so that's a good strategy. And if Oakland don't want guys, take them.
That's it. I'll be going to Baltimore this year. First time. Check it out.
You'll love the stadium.
Can't wait. Yep, checking that out and checking out some good seafood in Italian restaurants. So,
something for Monday. The Nuggets coach Mike Malone has been crushing the NBA scheduling. I know you don't care, but I think it's it's a talking point.
There we go. All right, well, we'll do it Monday, and also Doris Burke with a big good bit of analysis on Ben Simmons will also make a good talking point for Monday.
And we need to do that. I know we didn't get it in today, but she's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, she's a very good analyst. I absolutely agree.
Is.
So there we go. All right, let's get out of here. Have a good weekend. Enjoy championship
your weekend.
And we will see you on Monday, 10 to noon, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.